ain't no DMT world. Shit, they got everybody in buttercream land. So yeah, that's how you know the world is lost, and for the most part, the more we become aware, the more they stop these flunked out ass laws that got y'all lost in this motherfucker. Until then, suffer and they sweat. Oh, sad real shit, they sweat. While they sit back and make y'all master builders. Y'all don't know that's the secret allegory to master builder, making new men and women build their world. For an example, I'm about to run the whole thing, so because I'm tired of hearing about conscious community arguments about liberation and respiration and goddamn shit. And what the Bible mean by making a new man and woman. Man in the Bible means thought, your masculine energy. Women in the Bibles mean feminine, your emotions. So the divine masculine and feminine. And these are traits we go by. So we name these things names, right? So to make a new man is to make a new thought form for a group of individuals to live by. So at this point, when we're talking about names and tribes in the Bible, we're not talking about DNA race. We're talking about a kind of people that act a certain way, and we decipher the traits based upon as above, so below. Wherever the sun at, that's going to be that sun that have that energy. Now, that's how we came up with the knowledges. Now, regardless of what sun you was born up under, what part of the year you was born, sometimes you carry out certain other traits that get manifested as you being a star. So we would encapsulate that and say you would be this kind of tribe. You would be a Gentile. The motherfucker spirits that act in the root chakra that bend in on itself to become the sexual organs. So all the story narratives about the Gentiles is going to be how the mind state we was in that had us create the genitals. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Jesus coming from the heart space down to the dick area. You know, father's supposed to be the chakra of the head. Mother's supposed to be the chakra of the heart. They come together and make the child, which is the organ, the root chakra. And that's what creates the dick and the pussy for us to create children and things of that nature, right? So this is how you understand it from an esoteric perspective. Now, when you start to say new man and woman, these are individuals sitting back coming with a broad philosophical point of view of looking at the world, spirituality, and their concept of that and God. So when they're creating a new man, they're creating a new law or a new way of living based on living their own way and seeing that morality don't work because we're not able to build or be on even grounds on a community. So once they practice this with themselves, they create a government, and then they do that for the sheep mind who may not be able to think for themselves. So when it comes into creating new men and women, they're creating new ways to live for the world. And you may be religious and don't understand how easy this is done because life have been familiar to you what they already gave you. It's just as simple as giving you concepts like you can get insurance, you can get money, you can sell, bargain and gain by the mark of the beast. Mark period of time that people go for or give their blood, sweat, and tears for a desire. So if I can make you desire having a shelter over your head, which is a home, but you don't have the blueprint of how to build it, we don't want to be operative anymore. We just want to be speculative masons. So we're going to give you the blueprint to build it, but we're going to make you build our type of shit and give you the circumstances to make you feel comfortable with building it. Insurance, money, gold, bargaining and gain. This is the first context of covenant, government. Now, I don't understand why religious people don't understand that. But for the most part, here's the thing. So when we get into making new man and woman, it's creating a new thought form for the sheep to live by. Now, when we start to talk about making master builders, we make these individuals like us now. We give them the blueprint to build that building, that pyramid or whatever like that, and make them happy about themselves. So when they run around, they say, yeah, we master builders. We built this world. But they don't ask the question who world they're building because they so busy fighting amongst each other on who got more insurance, who got more riches, who's deeper in the witchcraft religion, who's deeper in this, but they're all working for the same goal. So it's just a macro version of categorizing everybody all the way to the yin and yang ritual and spell, to the point that they have put a whole bunch of allegories up under the masculine energy participation traits and the feminine energy participation traits, and put a whole bunch of science formations under that, under the masculine yang version, and put a whole bunch of religious or spiritual context of receiving for you not to have logic, but this for you to understand the human psyche concept up under the yin concept. And that's how they practice the actual ritual spell of yin and yang, for them to even have it in a book for you to even know what that is, right? So this is their way of looking at the universe, and then they practice that as actually men and women to feel it's important enough to put it in these books, because this is how they're doing rituals and practices to control the world, who don't step into their own mind to understand these attributes for themselves, which we all supposed to be we know as soon as we come out of our mother's ass. You see what I'm saying? Now, When we get into creating a new man and woman, we make them master builders. Now, the master builders think they're doing something good, but it's reverse psychology. You're building our world for us to lay on our stomach and kick our feet up and actually create some type of Truman Show or some type of Matrix keymaker room circumstance where they're sitting around looking at all the TV screens, YouTube, news channels, the raptures they put us up in, narratives on their news channels to make us feel like it's important to go protest somewhere or to go pray somewhere just to create that necromancy for some spirit to come down here and kill all y'all because y'all in the middle of the street singing a ceremony and the government did that for y'all to do it, and it drive all of our minds crazy amongst each other because y'all spirits who don't know how to use your own mind, and y'all have other spirits down here creating other mental forces to make y'all go against each other in all ways that in the middle of time y'all don't even think y'all going together. Y'all going against each other because it was people before y'all that played out even nicer ways that still had to be controlled in certain ways. So you could be religious, think you all coming together for that little ceremony in Washington, D.C. to all sing together in that little Christmas carol and shit like that, not knowing the shadow government understand this is witchcraft. All y'all did was summon an event for half of y'all to get killed and some other spirit to go crazy with that energy floating around, that demon, and it go in their mind, and then they go fill up their tank all day with 24-cylinder truck, Suge Knight blood truck on Pyru, getting down, gonna get out. Thank God Wack wasn't on the passenger side, and then he ran over 20 people and shit like that. That was a whole event of witchcraft that was participated but crafted by the shadow government, but participated by the sheep. And where everybody as spirits, y'all in the same space. The type of mind y'all create is the same type of energy flow. So whatever is an accumulation of that energy, y'all mind, it was all survival and in need, and that Jesus worship necromancy, that dead spirit to come back down here so y'all can experience how it died in your own way. Then in the physical, the light bend in on itself, the mind, and play out as y'all body. And y'all body get led to that circumstance where all y'all minds created that event so y'all could be at that place and time, and y'all created a wrong place and time because what y'all was practicing, that was crafted by the shadow government. Now it created a whole disaster event, and y'all somewhere thinking y'all was in an event being good people, and it's just negative people in the world, not knowing to the shadow government eyes, this is witchcraft of teamwork makes the dream work, all participation, and how to do depopulation control in the most minute portions of it. You know what I'm saying? They be practicing this on a broad and a micro scale. So you have to understand that. And if you're a person who get lost up in these things, this is why you are in these events like 9/11, massacre, grocery store shootings, and things of that nature, right? Because it's all based on desire, low-hanging fruit. And the more you go out and about for these desires that they got for sale now, the more that you're able to be in these raptures. That's because the term rapture isn't actually in the Bible. But when you understand the context of what's actually going on, here's how a theologian utilizing apologetics, which are the 21st century demons, are able to ascribe what Greeks are calling as the rapture and that Latin word and things of that nature. And it's basically a witchcraft where you come up with an idea to make another group of individuals care enough about that idea. And let's say behind closed doors, here's where it becomes black magic, where we express a light magic, an image, but the black magic is you don't know the intent behind it. So the image might be something that look like it's for you, religion, that church, but behind it is when we know everybody come together, we're going to create an event to kill everybody, but we're not going to be blanked, so we're not going to have no blood on our hands based on the sheep mind, and they don't know how to think for themselves. So we already know what kind of scenarios they're going to create when we create this concept to make people care about being in that geographical location at the moment or that area in your city. Now, when y'all all go there, all we have to do is sit back and watch this low-hanging fruit be low-hanging fruit. And all y'all do is be low-hanging fruit. One person gonna argue that they know something in that book better than another person. Other person gonna start talking about this. Other person and then now it's 1,000 denominations. Shadow government got y'all. These are different forms of versions of categorizing and the extreme energies that they put us in rapture, where they make you care about fighting a war, taking care of your health with their pharmaceutical based upon what they make you think you are receiving BDT from, body temperature disorder. So they make you think it's a foreign parasite virus floating through the air, where it's your body developing mucus from inside of you to endure the seasonal transitions because your body temperature changes. And everybody's body temperature is different. So if we come up with medicine and encapsulations to track motherfucking body temperature and shit like that, everybody have their own individual way of maintaining their original since birth body temperature regardless of the seasonal change. And I guarantee you will see less colds, less flus, less everything, because it has nothing to do with a virus. Because technically, once something is not in a living orb and it's floating in thin air, technically it is dead. So any form of virus floating in the air can't be alive is dead. So I don't even understand. That's God's scientific methods. So I don't even understand what the fuck they talking about. Something have to be inside you to duplicate, or something have to be inside of a form, an egg. Something just can't be floating in thin air and not be born. What the fuck is that? A virus floating in thin air to go inside of you that's living, that's made up. So if we're talking about the parasites and the bacteria, these things is what you've been breathing in since the beginning of time. And these things are you. So they can't be talking about that. So if they're talking about a foreign virus, that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? So they're talking about your body already does a body temperature disorder anytime you're going through a temperature change than the season. Now, God gave you scientific methods. You could go get a cold glass of water and run it up under some hot water real fast and see that glass break. Or go get some hot water and in a glass cup and put it in the freezer too fast and see that the glass crack. So this is two temperatures that don't be in the same area, and they're mixing, mingling, which cause fusion, friction, light, and on a micro scale, contraction or breaking. So for the most part, this is technically what your blood cells do anytime the season change, and your body temperature have to take that little process of getting comfortable with that seasonal transition. You see what I'm saying? But if we had science out here, that we had scientific methods and health wise and little things that we could keep on us to track our body temperature like a rate, like a number rate thing. So anytime the season transition, you could put that thing on you, and if the number go too low, go too high, you know that you're going out of the equilibrium of your body temperature. So you know that your blood cells are getting ready to develop a little bit more mucus than they need to, because you need mucus. You have to have the equilibrium. Can't have too much, you will die. Can't have too little, you will shrivel up and die. And have too much, you will clog up and have blood clots, because it turns into blood. Adrenaline turns into blood. Certain mind states you in, whatever chakra it is, you put more mind state on it. That light bend in on itself, become adrenaline, tears, sweat, blood, bone marrow. And then if you're rooted in a depression and you keep acting out those traits that with the adrenaline force you to, you create blood clots. And then we call that cancer, tumors, and all kind of other motherfucking shit. But at the same time, it all goes back to air pockets and BDT, body temperature disorder. And if you could keep your body temperature in order during the seasonal transitions, I guarantee the whole world won't suffer colds or flus anymore, or ammonia anymore. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Motherfucker. Bitch. And you can practice another scientific method. It could be hot in the middle of the summer. If summer no rain, then da 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 da. Oh, my horse with no name, bitch. Y'all saying real shit. And it could be in the middle of the summertime in the desert. Sleep up under an air conditioner at night. I bet you wake up in the morning sick. Now it could be in the middle of wintertime, right? Middle of goddamn wintertime in this motherfucking shit, right? Go outside too fast without a coat and shit like that and see what the fuck happened, because you was just inside of a warm house. Now God ain't gonna tell you nothing else. Now you question God a little bit more, because I know I don't question God. Once God showed me that scientific method, I start going through other, wasting my time with, not even wasting time, having better knowledge now. BTD, body temperature disorder. We could take over the science world now, the health world. Now you get lost all that shit you won't. Keep questioning God then. God, that's the only scientific method you need. You ain't need no telescope. You ain't even have to be in no science lab. And you ain't have to be on Google and watch the news channel all day and Fox and CBS and wait for their fake ass puppets up there that probably ain't even a scientist. They're just the motherfucker, what they call that, the celebrity ones. You know what I'm saying? Because they can talk real good. A real scientist don't even want to be in a public. They're like, no, I worked my life because I had a dream to help people and I wanted to be a surgeon. I wasn't here to broadcast and be a celebrity like Donald Trump. So I be skeptical a lot of times about the fucking scientists they be having up here talking a lot of times. Them just be the motherfuckers who come in and talk and look at the shit and go back. They ain't the motherfuckers who putting in the work. They ain't the motherfuckers switching your heart around, giving you new kidneys from other people and stuff like that and putting blood, and them ain't the ones. The real ones doing that for God can care less about a motherfucking camera. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. God told me to look at that too, in certain ways. But other than that, you'll be able to motherfucking see it. You'll be able to motherfucking, damn, we passed 12 minutes. Let me get into this astrology. But yeah, you'll be able to motherfuckers see that motherfucker shit. And for the most part, God give you that scientific method. And if you keep questioning God, then you deserve to be feeling the way you feel because you took that fucking Resident Evil CE virus, PlayStation, Xbox 5. You know what I'm saying? It's your fault. You deserved it. And then your grandma deserved it. Because all of us, sometimes we get, not sometimes, all the time, all of us get born with bullshit. all the shit that your mother and grandparents was eating and shit like that. All that shit is, we suffering every day from that shit. You know what I'm saying? So you wonder why, like, your little cousin 13, he look older than you, or she look older than you and shit like that. You're like, damn, what, did my little grandma was born? I said real shit. I said they just got in college. Look like they should be retiring. You're like, oh no, wait, what's going on? Is it the food? Is it like all the way? Yeah, all the way down to you coming out your mama ass. Thank you so much for the donation, Miranda Lee. He said, vivid dreams too last week. Saw a stink bug in my room for the first time ever in my house. Look, man, listen, man. Lord Jesus Christ. We're going to get into this astrology. Real shit. We ain't about to make no spirituality about anything. Y'all have a dream about anything. I had a dream I put on my shoe. What that mean? And it mean you just start going outside and living life. That's what that mean. You know what I'm saying? The moment you having dreams about stink bug in your room for the first time and all that, you bored. That's what that means. 24 hours throughout your day go towards thinking all day. You know what I'm saying? You should be having dreams about flying, jumping out of windows, making yards, making geographical locations, creativities, landscaping. You know what I'm saying? Math and crafting out worlds, building households. That's your dreams and shit like that. You got a dream you sitting around somewhere, it's, you know, a little stink bug on a little windowsill with a little letter. What the letter say? What the stink bug? Who sent that letter through the stink bug on your windowsill in your dream to tell you something? Oh, what it say? You know what I'm saying? It said, get off your ass when you woke. Oh, I said, I appreciate that. Real shit. Next time you have a dream, that'd be the last thing you seen. There'll probably be a million stink bugs. You won't be able to pay attention to it. You'll wake up. That'd be the first part you forgot. Y'all say there'd be other important parts. You'll wake up, put in your dream journal. You're like, oh yeah, I did this. I seen God. Uriel was there. Uriel pulled up in front of my crib with the spaceship. Oh, I say that. Oh, you got one hell of a dream now. You got one hell of a dream now. I ain't gonna take it a lot. I ain't gonna take it a lot. You got one hell of a dream now. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Hey, you need a little bit more shadow work. Real shit. I appreciate the donation from my heart. Real shit. Look, check this out. Now, look, we got the motherfucking Venus and goddamn Aries right now. So a Venus and Aries, look, like I said, it's a frustrating time right now. If you don't direct this motherfucking energy, you got to know how to direct this fucking energy. Now, it could be useful for good. But here's the thing. Anytime Venus is in Scorpio, Virgo, or Aries, now we're going to specifically talk about Aries right now. It can be good, but always keep this in mind when we go through those other transits too. But y'all going to have me here to break that down specifically for those. But it's all in the same context. Destruction and Venus, the way it's used is not in the energy the way Venus likes to be used, that water cycle. So when you put that water from that water cycle we're going through to emit that light right now and use it for yourself, right? It might be a little bit negative if you don't know how to use it for its benefit. And here's the thing, it's going to be negative regardless. So even if you're doing something for its benefit, still negative things may happen. You see what I'm saying? For an example, going for the things that you love. When it's an Aries, Scorpio, Virgo, specifically Aries right now, so I can stop saying those, right? But they're debilitated. I need to get that in your mind. Because a lot of times, a lot of y'all like to go for love at these times. And love have to be in these areas that you're going for the things that you love is in. See what I'm saying? That's that little slight different. When you're just going for love, you're going to have this isolated, selfish way of looking at love. And if you don't see it in that own specific way, then you end up fighting that. And then that in the middle of all that, that's you actually pushing people away and becoming isolated. And then that's God going to put you in some type of closet with Tory Lanez inside your room for you to learn how to love yourself in some way, shape, or form. And it might be negative situations you caused to put you in that position where you could have just went to that position yourself, understanding when Uriel say Venus is debilitated in Aries, Virgo, and Scorpio. Okay, now I'm getting that out the way. Okay, now in Aries, even when it comes to going for things that we love, there may have to be things that sacrifice that we may not necessarily want to sacrifice. You know, people, places, and things, because they may not be loving or interested or compromising with the same things that we are doing. And if it's something that we're going for God, but we're utilizing the Venus energy, and when I say for God, I just mean for all possibilities. Some for you and something that can expand the world, not something that you're trying to take for you and it's just for you and it can't help the world. That's a person with a self entitlement energy, and they create a whole bunch of, like for an example, a person with abandonment issues. There's two ways they could go about it, because we all doing the same thing, but it ain't what you do, is how you do it. So you either do it for God or the devil. The devil leads you to confusion, bias, something that can expand the world, not something that you're trying to take for you and it's just for you and it can't help the world. That's a person with a self entitlement energy, and they create a whole bunch of, like for an example, a person with abandonment issues. There's two ways they could go about it, because we all doing the same thing, but it ain't what you do, is how you do it. So you either do it for God or the devil. The devil leads you to confusion, bias, contradiction, expectation. God leads you to no expectation, but satisfaction, unbiased, scared sometimes, but being able to have even more than the individual that may have got their quick scheme. You see what I'm saying? So let's say you're around two individuals, right, that have abandonment issues. The person that's going to grow up and start doing it for the devil, they may be unaware, because Uriel ain't in their life. So they may be unaware that, they may go around, have a whole bunch of kids and things of that nature, but they're not being that energy that they didn't see around them. So they like, damn, since I was a bandit, that's just the way life is. So they're not even looking at certain circumstances where they're abandoning certain things. They may be abandoning certain mental traits that can lead them to $1 million, gold. They may be abandoning certain people, places, and things emotionally, all the way down to physically. Abandoning or not taking full responsibility for their job, having a bunch of kids and thinking that it's normal to create single home concepts due to the fact of them thinking that, well, shit, these people should feel like this because I feel like that, and it just stops there in their mind, and they're constantly trying to get the quick shortcuts, the monetary gain, which lead into a whole bunch of blood on your hands, because you get one person, another person, but at the end of it all, you got 10 kids. So you didn't really understand what you was actually doing. That's when you're doing it for the devil. Now, when you're doing it for God, abandonment issues, since you didn't see nobody around you, that's what you're here for. You're that energy. So you're here supposed to play that energy. So you're here supposed to do something for abandoned people. Now, God will put you in a position where you could make $1 million off helping abandoned people. And now people feel non-abandoned when they're around you. And God, when you do that on your small levels, that's shadow work. And then God will put you in a position where you can receive more to give more. You'll be a person who come up with an idea to make $1 million off of a whole business that help abandoned people. But first I have to start small. Do you live your life where you're making sure everybody you interact with, you don't make them feel abandoned when they're around you, because you're using that negative failure in your life or that lacking that you didn't have as a fuel? So you like, damn, I didn't have that. I was abandoned. So I'm using this. I'm going to make sure everybody I connect with, I don't abandon them. You know what I'm saying? Boom, you're doing it for God. God going to make sure you get even a better position. Let's say, oh, I'm abandoned. Oh, damn, I created this situation. I created this. But then when I look at my life, shit, I was abandoned. So it ain't that. This must be that. But that's the devil. So you're already going to be on the other end of manifesting other shit. And it's going to trickle in areas that ain't even got nothing to do with the abandonment, but you still carrying around that aura, the cloud. So it's still going to manifest in your life in other areas you wish it didn't. And if you're not watching Uriel and doing shadow work, this is why other situations, opportunities, you got blockages and shit like that. And you're not able to think that, oh, it's coming from this baggage because of how it may play it out in that area. So you might just be looking at all the baggage that have accumulated, not the starting points of how I got there in the first place. Oh, damn, I dropped the damn arrow. You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep that in motherfucking mind. So don't use your failures to make excuses to why you can't or won't do something. Use your failures as fuel to be that energy. But see, we all need angels, an angle, a mind frame to get us out of an emotional state. But we're experiencing these things all anyway. But when you don't know you are experiencing these things, another spirit can come with their idea that have already experienced it, and that'll be a arch, a higher angle that was an arch to you to be able to use to get out of that. So all I did was craft up a word to help you understand that's what you're doing when you're on that path for God, or you're on that path on the devil in all scenarios and things of that nature. So, and hold on, I had another point. Idea that I've already experienced it, and that'll be hold up. We're experiencing these things all anyway, but when you don't know you are we're experiencing these things anyway. Hold on. Energy, but see, we all need angels, an angle, a mind. Failures to make excuses to why you can't or won't do something. Okay, yeah. Failures, there you go. As fuel to be that energy. But see, we all need angels. Yeah, so you gotta use that as motherfucking fuel. But if you don't know that's what you actually doing, it'll make you lack courage. So you always need a mind frame. That's what we praise. It's a spaceship. A spaceship leads us into a direction. The shadow government made y'all call that God and things of that nature. But you have these abilities to make these things up yourself and shit. So when you're in energies and shit like that, a lot of times you're already doing these things, but since you don't know what you're doing, this would lead you going down a more wrong path and shit like that. But once you can stop yourself in the track and have someone else who probably already went through that experience give you a certain mind frame to be like, oh, that's what I'm doing, and I know every time I do that, this is gonna happen, and every time I do that, that's gonna happen. Boom, that's like a spaceship, an arch angle you could jump in to go above your situation that you was in that became heavy because those waters was too much lights in it, too much lighter versions of that water, so it became water, not fire of it. You see what I'm saying? So you have to keep that in mind when you're going through understanding if you're on a mission for God or you're on a mission for the devil. And you could get confused. Y'all hit that flight button too in this motherfucker. And you could, because y'all know they be playing with my likes and my numbers. And my channel is the only channel they do it in extreme. Shout out to everybody else. I be seeing other people's channel they do it on. But they do it on my channel. My channel is like the most extreme. Maybe because I'm Aries or something like that, and I'm Uriel, Antares Moon. So they be secretly using me as an example to push certain narratives because they know how I'm a react in ways that enlighten other individuals in my kind of position. So even though they be thinking they doing things for the good, it still don't do me no good. And I don't like that. And that's when I go into destroying shit. But at the same time, everything be extreme on my channel. All the way to me playing out the energies, words, everything. All the way down to the energies we're going through. And animals, all kind of shit, witchcraft, spirituality. Like if I sit here and talk about an alien enough, an alien might end up popping up on my shit. Y'all say real shit. So like, they do my shit extreme, even with the numbers and the likes. Ain't no way that shit's supposed to be jumping that much. You know what I'm saying? So that lets you know when they got me in the system before they're refreshing and shit like that, they keep me below 500 and shit like that. But my numbers be way higher. Anytime they forget and they're doing updates and shit like that, they're not able to put the people that's in algorithms, the negative algorithms based upon them having strikes, the reason how they had strikes, because I ain't got no strikes no more, but the reasons how you got strikes, right? These individuals are able to participate with everybody else at those times. So our true numbers show, our true likes show, and shit like that. And then for the most part, and then they go back to their regular system and shit like that and put the people back in the algorithm shit. And they do mines on extreme contents of it. Like, that's extreme. Thank you so much for the donation, Carl Scotts. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real shit. Yeah, they be on my tail on the extreme. That's like weird though. Like leave me the fuck alone. Like, for real. Leave me the fuck alone. Because I already don't give a fuck about that shit. So, like, just leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? Because, shit, let me be free one time and let me have a live stream and it look like it's about to be 100,000 people on it in there. As soon as it reach 100,000 people in there, I'm going to say, fuck all y'all and cut the live stream off and go live later on that night. Like, ain't nothing happened. I don't get wet. You know what I'm saying? And then the shadow government, I just see everybody else, they get that. And start getting more hype and try to do the same thing every day and that's not me. I start getting scared of that shit. Y'all might not see me for a whole